Welcome to the Church of Mabus radio show. It's Friday night. We're going to get crazy. That's right. Jack Nicholson style. Friday night. A little bit of beaver out there. That's right. Jack Nicholson time. Listen to United Public Radio 107.7 FM New Orleans. We got Wild Trees here with us tonight. We got Super Bobby Dizzle.
Hello, everybody.
Woo! Jay
Super
is
Bobby
out
Dizzle.
with a kidney stone. It says like a half something. Like, I swear it just put half. I was like, what? He's on Percocet and listening.
Sending my love to sending my love.
I dealt with that, and let me tell you, a moment of prayer and silence for Jay. It's terrible. But
Poor Jay.
yeah, we're just
Get well soon, Jay. Push, breathe in and out, into your mouth, out through your nose.
Mine was so bad it was visibly
What?
appeared.
Said visibly, I'm out. It looked like
horrible.
the alien in your belly crawling
I'm
around.
still getting over it psychologically. But anywho, it's great to have this panel here. I call it the UFO special panel, Yardsale Deluxe. Try to do some Rob Zombie with it or something weird. I don't know, but
You couldn't have two better folks to ad-lib with you, I'll tell you that.
That's right. And first thing, we're definitely talking about UFOs. So let's let Wild Trees talk about the Las Vegas situation a little bit, if you could. What do you think about that? And of course, Bobby, add whatever, but I know we want to talk about that.
All right, let me start it off. First of all, everybody listening, thank you for listening. I've been on the show twice before. I usually get a really good reception from everybody. So everybody watching live and in the future. I'm a biologist. I study life, but I also study paranormal stuff. It would help me so much if you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Just go to YouTube, type in Biologist Wild Trees. I got a picture of a Bigfoot on my profile. Please subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Las Vegas story is very interesting. It's got a lot of element of classic UFO and alien abduction, which is very interesting. If you look at alien stories, UFO stories, going back to like the old times in Ireland with the fairies hundreds of years ago, if you see things that happened in Wisconsin, a few decades ago, it's very interesting. This story that happened in I believe it was May 1st of 2023. That was last month. This story has a lot in common with those things. Now, this is the story. There was a family who lived in a suburb of Las Vegas. Okay. They were living there. And on May 1st at the nighttime, a young man was there. He's 16. I believe his name is Angel. He's Latin American. I'm not sure if he's Portuguese. He might be Portuguese, but he's definitely Latin American. 16-year-old kid. He's the main witness. He said he was in his backyard. Now, his backyard is really large. It's all full of like rocks on the floor, which is, I think, typical of Las Vegas, a dry area. Of course, Las Vegas associated with Area 51, S4, a unit within Area 51 where Bob Lazar said that he worked with UFO crafts to backwards engineer them. I think there's a connection there with the Las Vegas S4 units with Area 51 and with this story in Las Vegas. But anyway, I digress. This yard is really big. It actually has a lot of construction equipment in it. That's how big it is. It's got like, a front loader, maybe a tractor, some cars. So Angel was working on his vehicle at night. He saw something crash into the backyard, okay? He heard something loud. This object crashed in the backyard. He said he felt like he was having an out-of-body experience. Like his whole body was shaking, I guess. Then very odd, he said he looked where the crash should have been, and what he saw was blurry. It was almost like whatever had landed had a cloaking ability. These are his words, okay? So something crashed, and it was a cloaking thing. Later on, he said he saw these two alien creatures. He said they look just like grays. Gray aliens are the body of a human. They have gray skin. They have a very large almond-shaped head, big black almond-shaped eyes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a classic alien look. That's what he said he saw. Not only that, he said they were about 10 feet tall. He estimated 8 to 10 feet tall. There were two of them. very interesting details. He said they had a large mouth, which you don't hear about mouths on these things. Some people have speculated maybe it was a praying mantis because the mouth was large. Another interesting detail, he says that when he looked at the eyes of this creature, he was paralyzed. He said it felt like he was having a night terror. That's a very interesting detail. He said after a while, when he looked away from the eyes, he was able to move again. He called 911, and there's a 911 call you could listen to. He told the police or the dispatcher for 911 exactly what happened, what I just told you. You can listen to it. Some police officers arrived at the house. One of the police officers was scared. You could see the police body cam footage. He was scared. He said that his partner had just reported something falling from the sky. And that's true. There actually is at least one video of an object falling down from the sky at around the same time, around the same area. It's kind of got a greenish glow, and you could just see it streaking down. Some people are now saying that's a meteor. Maybe it is a meteor. Maybe it's related to what this angel boy said he saw in the backyard. Maybe not. Called the police. The police came. Police didn't really do a lot. They were scared. Angel says they didn't do a thorough investigation. You could hear them in their voice. The police officers are very scared. They tell you straight up they're freaked out. He said after they left, they could hear voices all around them, and he could hear a lot of footsteps on top of the roof. It was very interesting. He said his family prayed after that. That night they prayed. So they're religious, and that's what they had to do to help the situation. Very odd case. I think it's true. I think they are being honest when I look at all the evidence. A lot of details don't make sense. For instance, if these are extraterrestrials and they crashed, what happened to the craft? Did it just disappear? Because there is no debris. Nobody found any debris. Yeah, just a lot of really interesting details. Now, some funny things is that he released a video of the family going into the backyard. Okay, now this is a cell phone video. It's shot at night. Nighttime footage is very bad. It's very blurry. Now, this is hilarious. A lot of people have taken like 10 seconds of video online, and they've blown it up, and they've put up the brightness and the contrast, and they're circling, this is an alien, that's an alien. It's laughable to me because every one of those videos says something different is an alien. Angel's being very odd. Maybe it's not odd. Maybe it's understandable. Angel's giving interviews, and he's saying he's depressed, he's stressed. People are talking bad about him. He doesn't want to talk anymore. He wants to live his own life. He actually has a channel where he put one video about this. I don't know that off the top of my head. But the case on, there's more details that keep being released. Apparently, the police did install in his backyard or on his roof, and they said they installed the camera so that they could monitor for anybody harassing him. The police have admitted they did that. They took the case seriously, and they installed cameras. The cameras are now gone. Another interesting thing about cameras is that on the local news station for Las Vegas, you see the police body cam of the cop entering the backyard, but then it cuts off and it's all black. The news reporter says the police have blocked off the backyard because it's private property. And a lot of people have said that's weird. I've never heard of that. Are they really blocking out the camera as it's private property, or is there something else going on? Those are most of the details. I mean, what do you guys think?
First off, it goes a bunch of different directions. I'll tell you that. I've heard the 911 call and saw what you're talking about, where they were doing the contrast and circling the blob squatches, which is always very frustrating for me because I get excited and all of a sudden I realize it's just people with pareidolia. Good old fashioned.
Yep.
I mean, that's wild. One anecdote I'll submit for you for the approval of the group is the color of the meteor. I saw one about that size, or the color of the object. Didn't mean to steer the crowd there, but the color of the object, the green. I saw one just like that about 5 years ago. Same color and everything. Just above my car while I was going to Waffle House, and I was not on drugs. So I think it's very possible that could have been a meteor, but it sure didn't burn up or disappear like usually. They go. That just kept going, so it must have been a big one. And that's just the color the atmosphere makes too.
Interesting. Did you hear a crash or any noises associated with that, Bobby? You saw that?
Oh, me? No, I was in the car. I just saw it kind of above like an overcast sky. I was kind of like looking through. It's like looking through something through a cloudy piece of plastic. Basically, I saw it out. You know, I was in my car and I was going to Waffle House for work. I looked up and saw it almost parallel to me above me, just green, couple flashes and it disappeared. Interesting thing is everybody else in the whole area saw it because I tweeted out there's a weatherman that'll tweet stuff like that out around here that's famous to this area.
Mm-hmm.
And a bunch of other people saw it. I'm talking about like 100 miles away, east, west, north, south. So I'm surprised no one, farther away from that area saw it or reported the fireball in the sky. So it may have been low. Meteors are generally high. This may have been lower. If there's not just tons and tons of people saying they saw a meteor that night.
And one thing I want to say is when it comes to the stuff that crashes, I used to know Chase Goletsky pretty good, and she was on the MUFON Star team when Robert Bigelow infiltrated MUFON and bought it. And you can find all that stuff online. I don't think he owns it anymore. But she told me that he would go out to UFO crash sites, and she had to report to him to gather materials. So we've also heard that other dude, David Grosh or whatever his name is, that was the one that came forth with all that. But this was a long ass time ago, like I don't know, 10 years ago or more. But
forgot about that guy.
Yeah, he owned MUFON for a while there, and it got crazy, and he doesn't own it anymore. But I heard that they were selling stuff out of the lockers there, that Thomas Reed had some compass go missing, and like they would sell people's stuff out from under them without telling them and stuff. And I don't know who owns it now. I'm not real big on MUFON, but surprised Dan Aykroyd's in it. But I could go on and on about that. I like Dan Aykroyd. But my point is, she was dead serious. She had to report to him. He would get the materials, he aerospace, take them back, and probably do crap with them and whatever they do, space enema, and ship them up to Mars. I don't know, but she told me that. So it's definitely, they have people that go out. And that's like the time I used to, I'm someone that's had a lot of weird UFO encounters. And at one point in Georgia, during a time of a UFO hotspot season at the house I lived at, my mom even saw them, and oh my God, Jeffrey screamed, and we saw these pyramid craft coming out of a portal in the sky that was orangish green. But shortly after that, me and a friend saw a silent helicopter sitting over my house, and it was very low, like too low to the roof, and a guy in a suit, like I don't know what the hell he was in, like Top Gun, and he waved at us, and it shot off. And me and my friend Jason saw that, and it was like they sent out some kind of agency because those UFO sightings were happening. So that's what happens. As soon as they get wind of it, they go and get it.
I think they're using some of that 50. They're using some of that technology that we're 50 years behind, knowing they have to take care of things like that.
Well, there's that book. What is it? That Robert Corso book about he talks about a lot of back engineering on Roswell and all that stuff. That's like a New York Times best-selling book. Corso, I forget the name of it, but they get into some pretty weird stuff. My problem with a lot of this stuff is the root of it. Like when we were interviewing Michael Carter, and I love that interview. We were talking, and Jay's brought this up before too. That whole Eisenhower story about him doing a deal with aliens that, you can take people in exchange for technology. And in the lore, that's considered a fact. Well, maybe it is a fact. I don't know. But what's the root of it? And I know Michael recommended some documentary, The 11th Green or something on Amazon. I need to watch it. But it's supposed to be about that. It's these weird stories that are like, is this stuff really true? I need to dig a little deeper because there's a lot of stuff like that with exopolitics. And, Len Kasten was on before, and his whole thing is basically Nazis and aliens, reptilians are still controlling everything. And he wrote a whole book about it.
Wasn't the Diglock that the Nazis had, the bell? That was alien technology, wasn't it? Diglock, they call it.
was weird. I don't know what it was for. What was it? Travel apparatus?
It was the bell. It was
What did it do?
it floated around. It was like their alien technology. Their flying saucer.
The gravity something.
Yep. I have the Glock, but it's in my lower waistband.
Yeah, I've had Peter Levinda on about all this stuff, and Joseph Farrell, and they get into crazy Nazi UFO, crazy alien stuff.
That's all day for me because they had something. What about the Jackie Gleason and Nixon thing? That's a good one. That's one of my favorites.
What's that one?
Where Jackie Gleason and Richard Nixon went down and saw the bodies in the spacecraft in Nixon's Cadillac? Or
okay, I may have heard that somewhere a long time ago.
And it calls Jackie Gleason just to go ape feces like we do about this stuff, and he turned his whole house into a UFO shrine after that. And just picture old Buford T just saying, "I saw an alien."
Certainly possible.
That sounds believable because basically the story is that a president was trying to impress a celebrity that he liked with UFO information. Is that true? Because that sounds believable. That sounds very human.
Yeah, that's it. You know who Jackie Gleason is, don't you?
Yeah.
I know Jeffrey does.
Yeah.
That's
the dude from Smokey and the Bandit, ain't it?
Yeah, the Honeymooners, right in the kisser.
Yeah, and he's Smokey and the Bandit too, right?
Oh yeah, Buford T.
Yeah. I dig it. I like Brendan Gleeson too.
He's from Texas.
You ever see that crazy movie Banshees of Inisherin or whatever with Brendan Gleeson?
I love that movie, dude.
Crazy shit, man.
Yeah, man.
It was one of the funniest movies, dude. I was laughing out loud in the theater every 5 minutes.
It was insane.
He killed his little donkey. He killed his little donkey with the thumb.
Basically, the movie's about a guy that just doesn't want to be friends anymore with this dude, and just extreme to the extreme. I don't want to give too much away, but that was crazy.
I think you can. I think you could give away the whole script, and people still wouldn't know what you were talking about.
Yeah. Basically, the dudes start carving off his fingers and throwing them at the door. It's like some weirdness.
They kept saying feck, F-E-C-K.
Yeah, it was really good. It's just crazy. It's like Beau is Afraid. I'm still not getting over that one. That was a few days ago.
I'm watching From right now on Amazon. That's probably the best new show to come out in years, as far as I'm concerned.
I've started it, but got behind somehow. But I heard Stephen King talking good on it.
When it started reminding me of Lost, like I lost all track of time. I almost ripped off the whole 2 seasons in like 2.5 days.
It's hard to get committed to something. I've had some Star Trek lately from Picard and Strange New Worlds, and that's it. A lot of that.
They can't really get any traction on those shows, though.
Picard, that 3rd season's like epic. I mean, they got some attention, but
I may have to watch it.
Discovery, everybody seems to leave off on that one and never finish it from everyone I've talked to.
What's the one with the girl from Walking Dead? Is that Discovery? Sonequa Martin Howard, whatever her name is.
Yeah, that's Discovery. That
one was rough. I tried to start it because I like her a lot.
Picard got really good. The 1st season I wasn't too crazy on. I like Q. So the 3rd was epic. I like the 3rd. Amanda Plummer's like villain in it. I like her. She's in Fisher King with Robin Williams and a lot of weird stuff. She's a weird lady, but she's a changeling villain in it. It gets good.
Changeling.
Yeah, there's changeling. The Borg stuff's really good.
The Borg freaks me out.
A lot of Borg.
I want to ask about going back to Las Vegas. I just want to ask, do you guys think it's true? Or do you think it's a hoax?
Occam's razor, since it's probably a hoax.
All right. Jeffrey?
I don't know, but
I haven't even thought about that. I'm so deep in this woo-woo that I just think everything's true. Honestly, I haven't given it a bit of thought.
I don't know, but there seems to be something to it. more than anything else I've seen in a while. And it's weird that that dude made all those announcements about the technology we have, which we already knew that anyway. But it got weirder with Congress and all that stuff. And then that happened. I've had people on, and I've seen other people. They think it's a whole fake part of a fake alien invasion, holograms, Project Bluebeam's coming, the Antichrist is coming, the reptilian lord will rise. So I've seen Augie Nost. He's a weird trip, good dude, a lot of weird space stuff, but he was on, and he didn't really mention Las Vegas, but basically says Project Bluebeam's about it's going down with Project Bluebeam.
Well, that's interesting. But yeah, that gave me an idea. What you're saying. So what about this idea? Okay, what if the Las Vegas alien is a hoax, but it's not, the witness is not the hoaxer, so it's not Angel. He saw that, but what if the hoaxer is someone else using holograms to trick him? Basically, what you're saying, would the government want to start this believable alien story?
Wouldn't rule it out, that's for sure. Not saying it's concrete because I don't know, but I wouldn't rule it out either.
Interesting.
I know it's interesting about the Phoenix Lights case. I mean, have you seen that footage? Of course, that's crazy as hell that this UFO park's over Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
Was that government? Was that really aliens? I mean, there's Stevensville, Texas, another same situation, all in the papers, a UFO parked over a city. Is it the government seeing how we'll psychologically react to it? Or is it really aliens? I don't know. I just know I've seen weird stuff too. So I'm on
I think the triangle.
I don't know, it's my motto lately.
I think the triangle anything is our experimenting with stuff. I think that's coming from the test areas.
Okay, I've heard of that.
The Phoenix Lights was huge.
I've heard the triangles are
crazy.
Well, the guy I talked to, I haven't aired his episode yet. Cryptid 559 from Fresno, I believe. He says that he'll see white triangles come over the Sierra Nevadas all the time. So he's just across the way from all those test areas. So he sees them often.
I've seen them.
You need to air that episode. That was a good episode.
Okay.
There's definitely, something to the. I seen a triangle craft over power lines once, and a ball of light came down towards us. And then that's all I remember. I don't know if I've ever been taken, but there's some weird things like that. We're like, did they take me and whatever, probe me or whatever, and I don't know it, and they mind wipe me. I've had weird stuff. I've had, and there's people that want to hypnotize me with that creeps me out. I don't want to do it. But if it was someone I really trusted, I wouldn't trust myself enough to do it. I would just make up stuff like Lord of the Rings or something. I don't, when you're like sedated or hypnotized, I mean, who's to say it's not? I have a pretty fanciful imagination, so I don't know if I've ever been taken, but I have had some weird UFO experiences where friends have said, my friend Rich, Jeffrey, you're attracting them here as we stare at giant blue and red crazy energy orbs in the air, like moving back and forth. So I don't know if I've been taken. I don't think I have. If so, I think they work with you on an astral level when you sleep. Maybe, maybe I have, and I just don't know. If so, they men in black my ass with the mind wipe. No doubt about it. I don't remember anything else.
Well, the one guy I worked with, oh my Lord, I don't know his name, says everything's astral. Nothing's physical when it comes to working with stuff like that. Oh my God, what was his name?
I know there was a time where I was at the other house me and Christina, my fiance, lived at. I was outside, and I can close my eyes and kind of meditate with the sun and let that white light fill your body where it just makes you feel like, whoa, dude, I feel like I'm glowing. I went back into that house and I saw an astral gray being that looked like a gray alien, but it looked pink, almost like what you would see from a sunspot or a camera flash, but it was the shape of an alien being standing over a dying old lady that Christina was doing, nurse care for. And it looked at me and turned. And in that house, Christina said she saw one standing over me at night, and it had a mouth and kind of bug-like, like we were talking about earlier. But somehow that the sun, the energy has given me, like, I don't know if it's some kind of He-Man superpower. I don't know. But I saw those beings, and that's the only time I've ever seen it, Bray. And I've seen some other beings, but it was like an astral. It wasn't physical. It was like a, I don't know. It's like pink almost, like energy. But there's something to astral, no doubt about it, when it comes to this. And that's where we go when we croak, I'm sure, into this astral whatever.
It just occurs to me that I think I think it could be astral, but what I'm interested in is what if it's astral technology? So what if it's true that your spirit is different than your body? I think Dolly, what's her name?
Saffron.
Bobby, Dolly Saffron.
Saffron.
Yeah, Dolly Saffron said that we have a spirit that indwells our brain. So what if that's true? So our consciousness is separate from our bodies. So what if that's true for all animals? What if these aliens have the technology to separate it at will and to transport it wherever it wants to? That'd be really effective. And that's why it's astral, because they have astral technology. They know how to separate the consciousness from its physical constraints. That's pretty cool to me.
And you know what? You're reminding me, and I've talked about this encounter one time with a friend Brian in the woods. We saw 3 small hooded beings, and they were like Jawas but skinny and taller, and you couldn't see their face. And they had a little black box in front of them, and a cat jumped towards them and they vanished. And we were both like, "Do you see that?" "Yes." "Do you see that?" We had been partying, doing all kinds of stupid stuff, but we both saw it. And that cat did jump and they vanished. But that box, I always wonder what the hell that little box. And when you said that, I thought of that box. Hellraiser box, the phantasms, the dwarfs.
What's in the box?
Time, all of space.
What's in the box?
Cinnabites, Cinnabuns.
What if they come down here to eat?
There's some people that say they do.
Like behind
there's a lot of
burger
food.
joints.
There's a lot of food of all kinds.
What if they come down here for Whataburger, our newest sponsor?
That's what cattle.
I'm sitting here drinking it like I'm getting paid to do it.
What's this up with the new show Beyond Skinwalker Ranch? I was like, am I going to watch this? And I looked up online thinking it was going to be something different. It's like the same dudes. Like, I don't know if I want to watch this. Sounds like it might be interesting because there's other places that this stuff's happening at, but I don't know if I want to look at these same dudes, Brandon Fugel and blah, 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 during this. Already doing it on the other one. They've already sprung off to Beyond Skinwalker Ranch, another show.
Makes you wonder what has to happen for a Skinwalker Ranch to take place.
Yeah.
And what if Skinwalker Ranch can be just a pinhole fracture in the below you, and it can happen anywhere, and that's the reason you step on certain places and all of a sudden, boom, stuff.
And make sure when you go to their study it, you name your mainframe Satan. That's always a plus, I'm sure, in these situations. But here's the thing. I've had Mark Muncie on. I've heard Stacy Brown, who's finding Bigfoot and all that stuff and big into Bigfoot. I've hung out with him before and had him on. He said something similar. And there's a lady that her name escapes me right now. She said something similar, that there are places like Skinwalker Ranch here in Florida in the Panhandle. And Mark Muncie said they can't mention the business name because they're afraid it'll hurt business. So they're trying to anonymously do it. But basically, there's more than one location down here. And I've had 3 or 4 people tell me this, but they won't tell me where it is. I don't know if I need to know because I don't need to go to it probably. But I would probably try to. But they're down here. It's probably happening everywhere.
Well, it reminds me of I found an area. So I think it's true. I think there's certain areas all over the world that are like, they have all the characteristics of Skinwalker Ranch, at least what the stories are. There are areas on our planet, all over the planet, where a lot of strange things happen. A lot of UFOs, Bigfoot creatures, abductions, strange lights, dog-headed men. They all happen in the same spots. I think I discovered an area in Texas where I do research. It's a biological preserve. And so there's things I think you could look for that will tell you if that's going to happen. I think mountains is a big one. Another one is biodiversity. like the rainforest, like having an area with a lot of different types of animals, different types of life. I think you also have paranormal things, and that kind of makes sense because I think a lot of the paranormal is basically life. I think when you look at how the paranormal acts, it represents a form of life. So if you go to an area like a rainforest that has so much different types of life, it makes sense that you're likely to find paranormal life there as well. But yeah, I have one of my own spots, and I've had paranormal things happen to me in this area. When I did research, there's a lot of evidence of Bigfoot sightings, of landed UFOs, of dog-headed men in that area. So I think it's one of these spots, and I think they're everywhere.
The dog-headed men thing's wild because they report that at all those kind of places. Like sane people say I saw dog man.
Yes.
I don't understand. I don't well obviously don't understand, but it's wild how that's the one commonality.
So what do you think's going on with there? See, I always wonder with the dog-headed man. I'm sure it's true, but I wonder, is that a mask, or does it really look like that? Is it a form of camouflage? It wants us to think it looks like a dog-headed man. I believe people are seeing dog-headed men, but do they really look that way? Is there really a form of life, or is it some kind of camouflage or trick? That's very strange to me.
I mean, it could be either, but I think there may actually be a species. If you look at the Egyptian gods, right now, Small Tail Monsters, they just sent me their book, Dogman Triangle, about Texas from some dude. He's ignoring my email. I won't answer for a show, but at least I got your book. So hey, but anyway, they're doing a documentary with it too. It's probably just busy, but Dogman Triangle, I think there's something, there's just something to it. I don't know. Oh, Linda Godfrey, God, she passed away. That sucks so much. But she was on the show and has all the stuff about the werewolf stuff and that town. There's some town where they got so many stories of seeing that kind of stuff that they put it, the sheriffs or put it in a box or something and keeping up with it like and they started taking it serious. But I don't know exactly what they are, but it may be just like a race, but it could be, I'm sure there are trickster things that can shapeshift and look like whatever they want.
About the one that killed some folks up in Kentucky.
What's that story?
Oh, the dog man land between the lakes.
Yeah, heard of that. But I don't remember the death story. But do you know how much do you know of it? What can you tell us?
I know they say that they're covering it up because that people are lacerated or mutilated.
Wow.
Out there on the island. It was like a child involved too.
Oh, I haven't heard about that one.
Yeah, it's that's one of the ones
lakes or something, isn't it?
Yeah, Land Between the Lakes, LBL.
It's interesting about dog-headed men because tell me if you think I'm right, but when I think of scary things, I think that would be very scary to see a dog-headed man. I'm not sure if it'd be scarier than a gray or a Bigfoot, but probably it is. It's almost yeah, it's almost like, okay, is that the purpose? Is it if it's camouflage, maybe they're doing it on purpose because they want to elicit fear. That's exactly what they want us to feel. Because
Bigfoot in the gray doesn't exactly scare me. The dog man does.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I mean, either one would freak me out if I saw it in person. All three of them.
And our dogs, it's spy little webcams for invasion. And they sent them in long ago to infiltrate us. Dogs, household dogs.
Household dogs.
Dog spells dog.
That reminds me also of the praying mantis aliens. It's so odd to me that there's a race of tall praying mantises which people like David Jacobs, Dr. David Jacobs is a big abduction researcher. I mean, he's got a doctorate degree. I believe it's in history. But anyway, he really thinks that the gray aliens are abducting us and they have evil plans. They're trying to take over the planet through a hybridization program, which is interesting on its own face. Like, if you're going to take over a planet, how do you want to do it? Do you want to do it with force? Do you want to do it out in the open? Do you want to do it with warfare? Or what if you just introduce a bunch of hybrids of your own race? If you do that correctly, eventually, it's going to be your DNA on the planet. You basically own the planet. That's what Dr. Jacob says. But
you know the crazy story about him, don't you? That Emma Woods stuff.
No, what happened?
Oh, look it up sometime. I know he's got a lot of books and stuff. A lot of people know him, but there was a crazy story. We don't have to get into it too deeply because I'd rather talk about the other stuff. But look up David Jacobs and Emma Woods. Basically, it was a big to do about him hypnotizing this chick and doing weird stuff to her sexually. It's crazy. But yeah, he's well known, and this came out. I don't know. Look it up. There's a lot to it, so I don't want to get into it too much. But let's get back to the serious stuff, not the kinker. But I know I've seen he has some good, interesting ideas and popular books. But that is a weird story. If you get bored sometime, look it up. It's pretty old. Definitely. But the praying mantis stuff, those creep me out. Like Michael was talking about seeing one of those, and I remember a long time ago when I was young and more dumb, I saw a praying mantis, and for some reason at work I just cut its head off with a box knife, which was very mean. And they've always creeped me out since then. So probably the praying mantis aliens are gonna come murder me. But probably think of that every time I see them too, from that stupid thing I did when I was younger.
They're gonna remind you of that.
I know, every time for the rest of my life.
I like praying mantises. When I was a really little boy, I was fascinated by them. I remember I went to the public library. It was the first time I used the interlibrary loan system. By the way, folks, if you haven't used the interlibrary loan system, it's pretty amazing. I mean, if you go to the library, it's like the Netflix of books, and it's free. But with the interlibrary loan program, basically, almost any book you could think of, no matter how rare it is, you could request it at your library, and the librarians will find it somewhere, and they'll ship it to your library. It's an amazing free government resource. Basically, you can read any book you want within reason, I guess. But I remember I was so into praying mantises that I used that program, and I got a book about praying mantises, and it was cool. And I was never scared by them. I also went to like a reptile convention, and I bought an African praying mantis. I still am interested by praying mantises. I understand they're scary looking, but what doesn't scare me about them is their attitude. Like when I see them, they're very chill, they're very intelligent, very relaxed. So even though they look scary, especially if they were 10 feet tall, like their vibe kind of gels with me. You know, they seem like we're buddies. That's my thoughts on praying mantises.
And to the praying mantis collective, I apologize. Please forgive me. Stay away from me.
We all make mistakes.
How big is an African praying mantis?
I don't know, but I don't think it's the largest. The largest species is fairly large. I don't know. I don't want to. I'm going to guess. I could be wrong. Maybe a foot long. It may be Indonesian or Singaporean or something like that. But
how big is the African one?
I don't know. I'd have to look it up. I guess I could look it up right now. Hold on, guys.
Did you say you bought one?
Yeah, I did, but it wasn't.
It
wasn't full grown.
Oh.
Where is it?
Well, this was like probably 20 years ago.
Did you eat it?
They don't live that long.
Did it eat you?
No, it did not.
I bet Cajuns would eat them.
Yeah,
Joe would.
I put my hand on one time climbing a tree, and it freaked me out because it felt like it was a big something squishy moving underneath my hand. Oh my god! One of them big ugly ones.
I've interviewed Kawani, and he's pretty interesting. Leporitis, which I probably just said his name wrong, but he has a book. He's been doing this stuff forever, this guy. Look up his book, Psychic Sasquatch and Sasquatch People, but he tells stories of Bigfoot and Dogman and portals and weird stuff. But he's been doing this for a long time, and it's pretty respected. He's been around like God for years, and he's you can look him up and watch him talk and stuff. But he claims he has communication with these beings and tells some pretty wild stuff. Or some weird story about some Bigfoot that went rogue and was trying to hurt people or something, and all the other Bigfoots made it drink antifreeze and left it in a cave to die or something.
Wow.
Crazy, like weird stories like that. I don't know if they're true, but he's got a pretty interesting book called Sasquatch, Psychic Sasquatch and Sasquatch People.
It makes me so irritated with people who have these infrastructures of witnessing and libraries and of stories, but not one single shred of proof. And it's like that's part of their shtick. Maybe if you get down the rabbit hole of meeting a paranormal thing, you don't have to have proof anymore, or they're never going to get proof. That makes me. It gets on me. I'm like, they send me pictures of a blob squatch, and I've gotten hundreds of them, and I'm like, what is this? You say you know them, and they come to your house. Take a good picture. Just one.
There's some lady in Canada that had a lot of UFO alien experiences, and
there's tons of them.
She has a documentary on Amazon, and it's got the most amazing footage. I'm trying to find it, but if I find it, I'll let you know. But God, it's so good. It's probably one of the best things I've ever seen with that kind of stuff. Can't even remember. I have her book too. But I'd have to. I'm digging to try to remember it. But some of the footage, I mean, they even have video and stuff. And it seems like this house is just being bombarded. There's light beams, and they're getting this stuff on video, and it's pretty reputable. But I'm looking for it. I'm trying to find it.
Yeah. What if the reason we haven't never seen good pictures of Bigfoot is because they can actually be telepathic, and if it ever gets out, they get out there in front of it and remove it from everything and make us forget we saw it. What if that's I mean, among the stuff I've heard of them doing, that's not out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, the Bigfoot thing just gets me going. I'm like, can we just get a picture? Just one. A mugshot style, front, sideways.
There's a few good videos.
Vial of blood.
There's one where there's like in the background of some dude, and they're swinging in a tree, and you can see it pretty good. There's a few good ones out there, but not many. Crowd.
It seems like the amount of people I've talked to, just me, the amount of people that I've talked to that have them that close. Like, I understand a couple about why they don't have pictures and stuff, but there's a couple that act like it's dyed in the wool. They come to their house and have casserole every night, but don't have good pictures. Like either you is or you ain't.
Here's this lady, Contact with Beings of Light, the amazing true story of Dorothy Wilkinson Isaac. I'll have to find the documentary, but that's the book.
Sounds familiar.
And that by Peter Gattila. And this book is really amazing too, and it has all the stuff in it. But this is one of the best cases I've ever seen, and this lady's really reputable. I don't know if she's alive anymore, but I highly recommend looking it up. It's called Contact with Beings of Light, the amazing true story of Dorothy Wilkinson Isaac. And there's also a documentary somewhere with it on here, but
there it is. What about the large white guy from out there at the range? Out there at the test ranges in Arizona, Nevada.
The tall whites.
Mm-hmm. What about that guy? Like he had a really awesome story, but again, no proof. I guess you can't really take stuff like that onto a installation. I should know better than that.
The documentary Dan Aykroyd, UFOs Unplugged with David Sarita, is pretty good. It's got a lot of good footage in it. That's amazing. And then Dan Aykroyd smoking a cigar and telling UFO stories.
Oh yeah, he was so good on. Did you see his interview on Rogan talking about those?
Yeah,
years ago. That was a good one.
Yeah, he's good. I like him, except for the MUFON affiliation.
He's wild. He was good in that new movie with that new Ghostbusters movie.
Yeah,
with the kids from Stranger Things.
Yeah, that was decent. I'm trying to find this damn DVD now. I know it's on Amazon. So what's up with the UFO documentaries? What have y'all been watching? I know Wild Trees. Weren't you just talking about Moment of Contact, or was it Bobby? It was one of you.
Both of us.
Okay.
I've seen it.
What is it?
I think. Oh well, the correct anything I'm wrong about this Wild Trees, because I had a hard time with the subtitles because it went hard in the paint with the subtitles.
All right.
But I mean, I'm good with subtitles because I can't hear them unless they're on. But like the alien crash was in the 80s in Brazil.
It was in the 90s, actually.
90s, and they rescued the bodies, pulled them out.
Yeah, that's basically true. I don't know. The rescue thing is kind of basically a UFO crashed. Some bodies were some alien ugly. They look like gray aliens.
Mm-hmm.
They were very ugly, though. I mean, I'm sorry. They said they looked like demons. They had a heavy sulfur smell. I wouldn't say they were rescued because they were just running around this town, and eventually police just grabbed them with a net.
Yeah, and they took it to the dude's house. That's right.
Yeah.
They were riding around in the car with him in the back.
Yeah, one of the guys who
need to watch this. I've heard of it, but
one of the guys who touched it apparently died from touching it. He got too close to it. But yeah, it
One of
had
the
this
guys, if you
rancid
ask him about
smell.
it, remember the one guy? He said, "If you get any closer, I'm going to shoot you."
You know.
I need to check it out. I have it. It's on the itinerary. But that documentary is about that lady. It's on Amazon Prime. Capturing the Light. The true
Capturing the
story
Light.
of Dorothy Izat, an alien contactee who has accumulated over 30,000 feet of film footage backing her claim. It's really good if you get a chance to see it. And there, she has a book too. It's really good, but probably one of the best cases I've ever seen on all this stuff with evidence. That's amazing.
The best documentary I've watched in a long time has been Missing 411: The UFO Connection.
I saw that too, and it was
That
bone
was a
chilling.
that was a banger. I talked to Jack Connor about that the day it came out.
Wow.
Like I didn't know anything about it, and Jack Connor's grilling me on it. I'm like, oh dang, what a day not to do my homework.
Huh. So what's so good about that one?
Oh, it's amazing. Like it's one of them they were in timber country, and they saw an elk, and this little UFO came over, 10 foot,
Yeah,
he's 10 foot wide,
next to
tractor beamed
Dukes.
this elk off the ground.
Man.
And the witnesses were all like migrant workers, like migrant Hispanic workers, and they were giving their account like that. And they were all telling the same thing. And then, but one of the best the guy that shot the elk. Oh, there's
Yeah.
two of them. I'm getting mixed up. My brain's missing. The guy shot at an elk. The bullet hit an invisible wall and mushroomed.
Yeah, I remember that.
He picked up the bullet and still had the thing. And it's the same guy. Yeah, he got abducted. The guy got abducted, and in the craft with this alien was the elk he was shooting at. And he told the alien, "That's my elk." He goes, "Well, it's mine now."
Is
But
that
the guy had
that they did the lie detector test on 4 times and
Mhm.
he passed on? The same guy? Yeah, yeah.
And he died of cancer not too long ago. So it was
And I've said this recently about that guy, and I've interviewed David a bunch a long time ago. It's been a while. I know
Pilates?
recently, yeah, a long time ago. I've interviewed him like 5 or 6 times, like a long time ago. And then he got mad at me because he has anger problems with a lot of different people. But he sent a book to me, and I think someone passed in my family, and I didn't get to interview him. He was like just kind of rude. But I've heard different stories about that. But I still like his work, even though he gets on my nerves sometimes. And I'm sorry that his son took his life. That was horrible. And I know it's got to be horrible to go through that. I know that happened. But I love his work. I have
It's
his
amazing.
I have his Bigfoot books. And I don't want to kiss his arse too much because some people go a little overboard with it. But it's creepy, something's happening. I'm not going to say every case is aliens stealing people or Bigfoot or whatever, but I interviewed him once in written form, and I had a question about Bigfoot in the Florida Examiner, and he made me omit the question. He said, "Jeffrey, I can't bring up Bigfoot to families that are grieving. They'll think I'm crazy," and basically alluded that there was something kind of to it. I don't think I still have that email, but it happened. And what happened, though, he used to not talk about paranormal stuff at all with this stuff because he didn't want to look crazy. But then he did the Hunt It. That started getting weird with Bruce Maccabee and some kind of predator veiled alien in a tree and the UFO over the school. And then he's starting to open up more, and there's more evidence and proof that something weird's happening. And then UFO Connection, he's just balls to the wall. But the creepiest thing that creeped me out about that story with the guy with the illusionary wall and all that crap is he said they put him back because he had a vasectomy.
Oh,
yeah,
right,
they couldn't
And
they couldn't breed him.
Yeah, and they said everyone else who had working junk didn't come back, or they never found him, or whatever.
And they dumped him on a hill from like 30 feet up. Broke his collar or something.
And here's the thing: I'm a testicular cancer survivor. I lost one in the war. Did they throw me back like a dirty fish? I have a daughter, luckily, but did they say, "Oh, look at Meatball here, Hitler, one nut, threw me back"? Tom Green threw me away like a dead fish. If I had working junk completely visually, I may be on planet Zanzibar as a reptilian stud slave. So I think there's something to all this crap. Do I know what? No, but there's a lot of people going missing, and it's scary as hell. Makes me not want to walk in the woods alone.
I was just bragging today that I had a full set.
Don't
Now
do
I'm
it.
kind of scared.
I know. Be careful.
They're listening in. I'm going to get taken up tonight. Ain't nobody here. I'm home alone. You may never see me again.
They call me Meatball.
If you never see me again, BobbyDizzle.com. Subscribe, please.
I want to talk about.
Tell the others.
I wanted to say something interesting about Paul. David Paulides. My bad. David Paulides. Paul Paulides. No, David Paulides. All respect to him. If you're listening to this ever, I do respect you a lot. You're a great guy.
My boy Dave.
You're my
He'll
boy
probably
Dave.
never listen to it unless someone gives it to him to say we're talking crap about it, which I probably.
I love you, Dave, and it's not me. It's Jeffrey. Jeffrey doesn't like you.
I love you.
Jeffrey ain't got the balls to say it to your face.
Federally, though. It won't go past that point.
No, okay. Now, it's what I think is interesting. For a long time, Jeffrey, you kind of hinted at this. He's kind of changed his attitude. For a long time, if you watch Coast to Coast, they'd ask him, what do you think is going on? He'd always say the same thing. Be like, I don't want to talk about what I think is causing the disappearances of 411. But then nobody talks about this. He made this special on, he just made this like a few episodes special called Vanished. It's about Mount Shasta in California. And what's odd about that is this guy that went missing. He very clearly and in detail tells you what he thinks happened with that missing person. And nobody ever talks about it. So maybe he thinks a lot of things happen to missing people. But one thing for sure he said on that episode is that he does think that certain areas like the Mount Shasta in California, maybe some of the parks, he thinks that portals open up sometimes and people fall into them and they go to another dimension. That's exactly what he says, very detailed. So that is from his own words. That is one thing he thinks happens. And that sounds I think that's true. I also think that a lot of weird animals might come over from those portals. Let's say all these weird cryptids, maybe like, your Mothman, Mothwoman. But I always suspect that portals are happening on this planet either naturally or artificially, like somebody's making them, but I think they happen. And I think sometimes weird animals just crawl through them. And that's why we see these one-off cryptids. They go to make out point, they scare a couple kids in the back seat, they fly off and die in a ditch. You never hear of them again, except for that one time you saw them. But yeah, David Paulides does believe portals are taking people.
I think that I wish we had more on portals, because it's one of those things, like if you see a portal, then it's pretty much you're never seen again. But like Zeus Pratt, you know who Zeus Pratt is? Wild Trees and or Jeffrey?
I think I interviewed him with you, I think.
Yeah, Project Sasquatch in Colorado.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah, he's a real cool cat. Yeah, Wild Trees, I think, was there. He was the one that had the hair that was willing to sacrifice.
No, I was there.
That's right. But he saw a lizard man, like you were talking about, in a Jawa hood, Colorado, and it did this and ducked behind a tree and disappeared. And this dude's not lying about it. Like, he's not lying. Like, what do you do with that information? Zeus Pratt, I can't even say his name, but I put salt on his name because he's a good dude. Like,
I'll have to interview him.
Did this.
Good. Well, that's the
Project Sasquatch.
That's the big thing with this phenomenon. I believe that, certain people can see it. I've had people see stuff with me and see it then and then ask them years later, and they act like I'm an idiot. And I know they were there and they acknowledged it and we both saw it. It's like they've been mine like dogs. Shh. But as far as my phenomenon, I honestly think it was a shamanic death. You lose a meatball, and then a few years later, my dad died. I think suffering was so much, it opened my senses and I saw through the veil. And I still see through it sometimes, not like I used to, I'd like to. But somehow it was like Odin's eye. But,
Long Island Bigfoot got hit by that IED in Iraq and came home and started seeing Bigfoot everywhere.
Yeah, what's that story? The Afghanistan weird stuff with the Bigfoot. They supposedly fought a giant or something. Have you heard that? I had a guy on, and I forget his name, but he swears up and down he knew a soldier that was there at that thing, and it happened. And he also, I'll look up his name another time. I lack the strength right now.
I've definitely heard of that.
But have you heard this story? This is a weird one. He told this story, and I've never heard this story anywhere else, and it's a weird Bigfoot story, and it may be BS. I don't know. It's still a weird story. It may be true. there was a show on Showtime called Escape from Dannemora, and it was by Ben Stiller, funny guy Ben Stiller. And he also did that other show where they get their minds hacked and whatever, Severance or something. It was pretty good. But anyway, in that show...
Severance was awesome, by the way.
Yeah. See Escape from Dannemora. Paul Dano's in it, Riddler, dude from Batman, Patricia Arquette, and then Benicio del Toro. It's based on a true story of a lady that works the wood shop at the prison.
How do you spell it, that last word?
Escape from Dannemora. God, I don't know. D-A-N-N-N-A.
God, look it up. Read a book.
Dannemora. It's a place in New York. It's a place in New York. But it's really good. It won awards and crap. But anyway, the true story is Patricia Arquette's banging this dude in prison, and she's a teacher. And then Benicio del Toro gets in on the action and blackmails her, and somehow she gives them stuff and they escape. I won't tell you the rest, but it's good. It's really good. And but anyway, this dude that was on the show has a Bigfoot place, and I'll have to look him up later. But he has an organization and everything. He said that during that time when those prisoners were at large, officers were looking for them. Two figures came up upon the officers, and the officers shot, thinking it was the prisoners. Killed two Bigfoot. And he was dead serious. Like, I don't know, maybe they're all crazy. Maybe it really happened. I don't know. And then they found later, and the altercation happened with the prisoners. But it's just a weird story I've never heard anywhere.
I've heard that before.
You really have?
Yes, that's not that. I hadn't heard it associated. Yeah, I haven't heard it in association with the Showtime Greatest Hits, but
you've heard about that?
I've heard of the officers shot at a Bigfoot looking for escaped prisoners.
That's the guy said Dannemora, New York, and that's what that whole show's about.
Was it from you? We may have talked about this,
That might be a possibility. Certainly, I wouldn't rule it out. Maybe.
I talked to a lot of Bigfoot dudes.
You got the memory like a Cheshire cat. That it's possible. But I don't know. You might have interviewed the Bigfoot dude too. You interview a lot of Bigfoot people.
Yeah, I've talked to a lot of Bigfoot dudes. That's my favorite thing. Yeah, normally I remember things pretty well, so I don't. But I've heard that story before. Sure enough.
I had a guy named Joe Fex told me once they found a horse that had its back broken, and they believed it was from a Bigfoot that tried to do business with it. And this dude was dead serious Bigfoot guy, which I don't even know if he's still alive now, but he was dead serious when he told that story. They found.
I thought you were going to say the Bigfoot's trying to ride the horse, which would have been much more pleasant.
Well, that's what picture. They found, the broken back horse. Something. I mean, what else would do that? I don't know. Me Bigfoot, me love horse. I better stop it. But anyway, I don't know. You've heard any weird Bigfoot stories, Bobby, or Wild Trees?
I've heard of him snapping a deer's neck with one hand.
Yep.
Picking it up like a guinea rooster and snapping its neck.
Oh, that reminds me of something I wanted to talk about earlier. Yeah, about what were we talking? Were we talking about cooking earlier or food that tastes good? I don't know. But we're talking. I was like, okay, I really think that a way to communicate with Bigfoot, to make closer contact with Bigfoot, is through cooking. Actually, through cooking, because Bobby and I have both interviewed a guy, and there's other people all over the world who give a gift of food to Bigfoot. There's a lot of evidence they have supporting it. But yeah, basically, Bigfoot likes taking food like peanut butter and stuff. And I was just wondering, if I want to be friends with a Bigfoot, I was wondering, like, I've never heard anybody do this or say this. I was like, and I told this to the guy, the witness, I was like, if I want to make a special connection with a Bigfoot, and I just want to spend time with him, I just want to get a bond going for whatever reason, maybe just for fun, maybe to get more enlightenment, I would be like, dude, I would be cooking this Bigfoot all kinds of different dishes, homemade lasagna, banana Fosters, anything I can think of, there's so much food out there. Some oxtails, oxtails and collard greens, fried okra.
You've seen Harry and Henderson's too many times.
Take it some Whataburger.
Whataburger's a good one, but no, really, I'm thinking, why wouldn't Bigfoot like that? All these weird
pancakes and peanut butter. I have heard that.
All they ever get is like real canned crap that people can stay out in the woods.
They just get a can of Jiffy. That's it, dude. Peanut butter.
What are we in first grade Bible camp? Bring me something
Some
good.
apple slices, some raisins to go with that peanut butter snack. No, dude. I
Take
want
a,
to give him
take
a
a
steak,
Blackstone
dude.
grill into the woods.
Hell, there you go, dude. Oven baked pizza, pizza oven. Dude, like
I want to
tamales.
see one. Why do they always show themselves to like right wing extremists that want to shoot them? I wouldn't shoot. I'm not curious about that all the time.
Because the rest of them are not in the woods.
I guess that's true.
That's a good
I'm
point.
being invited to
You
go
can't
to the
appear in a
woods.
coffee shop in front of a laptop while they're writing a screenplay. You got to get out
Seems
there.
like I've
Bunch of
interviewed
hippies?
Justin Smeja, and that's probably fraudulent. I don't really know, but in written form, and that was a mess, a lot of editing. But people get mad about it. It was at the site, but supposedly he claimed he shot a Bigfoot and came back to get a piece of it or something, and big crazy weird stories on those documentaries and stuff. Claimed he shot one. Justin Smeja.
I think if I had a possible Bigfoot hotbed, such as our friend up north in Blacktick, I think I would probably would be like welding a 4x4 box out of quarter-inch metal to be a gifting area. Kind of like, I know if y'all ever been to like a place where they had bears and
Yeah.
you have to reach your hand up into a handle and pull it out, and that's how the trash can opens.
Yeah.
I think I would have to get something like that for Bigfoot gifting, because if you just put a plate of hamburger or bananas Foster in the woods, coons and stuff like that stuff too, I'd have to make it to where the Bigfoot, but no cameras, but like Bigfoot have to come in there, maybe not lock it, but make it where it was secure enough where they had to undo something to get.
Oh, dude, that's magical, dude. I'm gonna build a magical little bread box for the Bigfoot. Only
Yeah.
the Bigfoot can get. It's gonna be decorated nice. It's gonna smell like fresh pine sap. I'm gonna put all my meals in there. It's gonna be like insulated. Only the Bigfoot can get in there, dude. No, I love it.
Yeah, like put it on like a pedestal, like a hibachi grill at a rest area.
There you go. No, that sounds great.
Make
That's
sure
a
it's not a
practical thing.
Bigfoot chick in heat.
Oh man, now we're getting
that's a whole-
into.
That's a whole nother.
Another show.
Look, man, I gotta give a disclaimer. Do not go out there and feed Bigfoot banana Fosters, because you don't know, unless you're a professional, you don't know what the results could be. I would do it because I would just want to be friends, and whatever may come, I will accept it. You know what I mean? Don't do the crime if you can't do the time. I'm okay with the Bigfoot haunting me. I'm okay with the Bigfoot getting jealous of me. I'm okay with a hitchhiker Bigfoot. I'm okay with that, but there is risk, like Jeffrey said. I mean, there's a lot of variables to consider, but sometimes make a discovery, you got to be a little reckless. I'll say you got to be ethical. Definitely don't skimp on your ethics. Make sure what you're doing does not break any taboos or any laws or hurts anybody. But apart from that, I'm pretty reckless, because sometimes discoveries are made with recklessness.
Be nice about it. like the Bigfoots can sense your stuff. Everything can sense it.
That's a big thing about Bigfoot research. I've learned you got to treat this thing with respect, man. Like, treat it with utmost respect all the way through. You're going to get better results with Bigfoot research.
Yeah, just go out there like you're going to be their friend. Like, I would go out there with no intention of ever getting a camera picture of it, with going against everything I stand for. When I just ranted about for 35 minutes.
Listen to Bobby. Bobby's speaking the truth. That's pure truth, man. You got to go in with this humble attitude with the paranormal.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask this, and the Church of Mabus family listening out there in Radio Land in the bayous of North Louisiana, or wherever bayous are in Louisiana. North is Arkansas. But would you rather have... I forgot what I was going to ask. I mean, would you rather... Okay, I know what it was. Would you prefer accept the fact that Bigfoot existed and only you knew it, if it meant that you knew Bigfoot but you could never tell anybody? I mean, would you do that? I wasn't going to do a would you rather, but basically, if you could get told that Bigfoot existed and know 100% today that it existed, but only you could know with no pictures or anything, would you do it? 100% proof. I would. Right now.
Yeah.
You got to hang out and have first Thanksgiving lunch with 6 or 8 of them around the big picnic table in the woods.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And a 10-minute Q&A. And I would, but you could never tell anyone it ever happened. You could just be like, "Yep, I like that subject matter."
You know, it reminds me of this thing I learned about the paranormal. Also, it's like, you know, people are very needy when they talk about the paranormal. You know, they're like very clingy. It's always, I always want something. I want a picture. I want a video. I want an audio recording. I want definitive proof. I want. It's always I want with the paranormal. You know, the paranormal, it lives on this planet with us. It shares the planet. We're neighbors. You know, sometimes we should be able just to enjoy it, not demand anything of it. Just like when you go to the woods, you know, there's some squirrels there. You know, there's some dragonflies and some trees. You sometimes you just enjoy the beauty of these animals. You coexist. You're not needy. You're not asking, I want to cut down that tree. I want to eat that squirrel. I want to catch that butterfly. Sometimes you don't do that. And I think with the paranormal too, sometimes it's okay just to enjoy it for what it is and not be so needy. Yeah, a lot of people forget about that, I think.
Yeah. It's always, what have you done for me lately? And they treat the
have you done
paranormal. They always treat the paranormal and the Bigfoot and the UFO and the ghost like it's some kind of animal that lives out there, and it's like you can just trap it like a capucha monkey.
Hey, did any of you get to see The Dark Divide? That movie with David Cross. You heard
Dark
of it?
Divide?
Seen it?
Oh, is it a Bigfoot movie?
Yeah, but at first I saw it, and then I didn't even know it was a Bigfoot movie until I did, and then realized it was about a real dude, and he has a book about Bigfoot, and I forget his name, but I saw it recently, and it was really good. It's an independent movie. You've seen it?
David Cross is a comedian.
Yeah, he's in it, and it was good. Have you seen it, Wild Trees?
I have not seen it. I'll tell you what I do know about it. I did an episode on my channel, Biologist Wild Trees on YouTube. It's called Best and Worst Bigfoot Movies, and I had interviewed this guy named Brad. He's got a great channel called Creature Movie Reviews.
Oh yeah.
All he does is review, and he talked about it. We were talking about the best and worst Bigfoot movies, and he reviewed it. He said it was good. That's how I heard about it. I haven't seen it, but we discussed it.
Well, that guy liked it.
Yeah, he put it as one of the best. Yeah, that's how we rated it.
That's good. What's his site? Creature Movie Reviews?
Yeah, just type in Creature Movie Reviews and.
Wild Trees. I remember that interview.
It's not working right now for some reason. Maybe down. Unless I'm putting something in wrong. I'll put creaturemoviereviews.com.
I remember being.
Oh no, it's on YouTube. It's not .com. It's a YouTube channel.
Okay.
Yeah, just type that into YouTube.
Sounds like.
Sorry, Bobby. What were you gonna say?
No, I said I remember being in the live chats for that one.
Yeah, it was a good interview. It was like 3.5 hours long. We talked about a lot. If I counted all the monster movies we talked about in 3.5 hours, it's probably dozens and dozens.
I would like to have him on. That would be cool.
Oh, he's a great guest, dude.
It's on Tubi.
Yeah, it's on Tubi.
And Freebie.
You can also find it in other places, but Tubi.
Hey,
check it out. It's good.
Arr.
I know, right?
I found
this guy. I found him, and maybe get him on sometime. Whoops, YouTube. But it's really good. I want to get the book. Like, apparently the guy was like, first off, it's sad because during it, his wife is dealing with chemo, and it's not, she's going to croak. They can read that in the description practically. But that somehow I got some Guggenheim thing, and he does insects, some kind of insect situation. Yeah. And he goes out to the wilderness for 30 days or something, or I don't know how many days, 60 or 30 or something. But he has Bigfoot stuff happen to him. It's good. It's a good one. It had made some tears from the cancer stuff. I've been through it, so it was rough, those parts. But it gets really good when he goes out in the nature. It does a really good job with scenery and nature and animals and some natives in it. I highly recommend it. I love it. I want the book. I need to get it. It's on Audible, too. The book.
Awesome.
But there's one I saw recently, and you gotta see this movie if you've never seen it. It's an old Bigfoot movie called Cry Wilderness. Have you ever seen it?
No.
It's on Screenbox, and that's Bloody Disgusting streamer. And let me look up Cry Wilderness movie. And
Mystery Science Theater covered it.
It is, yeah. It's I found out about it from on there, and I looked it up, and people were like, they have parties and play this movie to laugh at it. And it's
is it the new or the old one?
It's 1987.
Okay,
but it's one of those that it's so cheesy, it's funny, but it's also good in its own weird, crappy way, you know. But people
Is that
apparently
Andre the
have
Giant?
I don't know, but people apparently have parties just to watch this movie to laugh at it. Apparently,
They did that for that movie, The Room, too.
I saw it on. I need to
I
get a
did not hit
copy of
her.
it somehow. I saw it on Screenbox, which
Cry Wilderness.
I highly recommend. Screenbox, $5 a month. I have Shutter too, but I like Screenbox a little better. I like Shutter, just depends. But Terrifier 1 and 2 are on Screenbox.
There's
Okay.
a tiger.
Have you seen those? Those are crazy.
I've heard of them and I've wanted to see them. They're on my radar.
Oh my God, you should see them.
Okay.
They're
awesome.
definitely, for me, David Howard Thornton is the Art the Clown. He's on Facebook and he's like the nicest guy ever. Like he'll come and hang out on my Facebook page and he, you know, he's just
awesome.
a really cool dude.
Have you had him on? Have you thought about having him on?
I've thought about it, but I know he's really busy. They're doing the 3rd movie right now, but he's basically the new Freddy, the new Jason, the new Chucky. It's the new icon.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love
and it. Terrifier 1 and 2 is on Screenbox. It's very cheap and it's really good. Cry Wilderness is on Screenbox, and that is a must see. it's just cheese, but you got to see it anyway kind of situation. There's a bunch of weird stuff on there. But I like Terrifier for the clown and David, but with the gore, there are some times where I'm like, damn, this is extreme. But
is it realistic gore, or is it over the top?
It's realistic over both almost. Wow. It's kind of both. It's sick. It's sick. But it's worth the watch. It's good. You know, I've seen it more than once.
That clown.
Yeah, he's also in that new show Bupkis about that Pete Davidson, which I know a lot of people hate him. I haven't watched it, but for some reason he's in that show as the clown. And I know Joe Pesci's in that show, which is kind of cool, but I might watch it one year, maybe not. I don't know. I don't really have any feelings about Pete Davidson, though. And he's from Saturday Night Live or something. I don't even know why people really hate him.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's entertaining. That's all I really care about.
I know people hate him for some reason. It seems like
he had a movie with Bill Burr, The King of Staten Island. That was a good one.
Yeah,
he's in a movie with Joe Pesci, so he's doing better than you hate us.
He's in Transformers right now. Transformers movie's out. He plays a major robot named Mirage. That's how you know you've made it, when you're voicing a Transformer.
Yeah. It's like I don't even want to see that. Not because of him. I just those are so terrible.
They're better. These are better. They did 2 of them now. They did one called a Bumblebee, and this one, it's a reboot, so they're not like the original Michael Bay ones. They are better. Oh, dude, you got to see the trailer. Good. You got to watch the trailer to the Meg 2. So the Meg 2 is about to come out, Megalodon 2 with Jason Statham. I just saw the preview last night on the big screen. It starts off in the dinosaur times, and you have T-Rexes in it. There's a Megalodon shark eating a T-Rex. It looks amazing. It looks like it's going to be one of the best movies of the year.
I've never seen the Meg 1.
I haven't either, but this one looks like they took it up to an 11. I mean, it looks so good. It kind of reminds me of Piranha 3D, the remake, but with a bigger budget and a bigger, monster. But yeah, it's got dinosaurs in it.
It's called The Trench?
Yeah, it's called The Trench. Meg 2 The Trench. It looks amazing. Blew my mind when I saw that trailer. Comes out this summer.
Oh, it does. There's a dinosaur.
Yeah, there's dinosaurs in it, dude. And they look good. They look awesome.
Oh my gosh.
I never saw 65. I wanted to see it. I know it didn't get the best reviews.
I could talk about 65. So I saw it in theaters twice. I really enjoyed it. A lot of people don't like it. My dad doesn't like it. He laughed at me after he saw it when I recommended it. I understand why people don't like it, okay? There's not that many dinosaur scenes. All the dinosaurs in the movie are not actual dinosaurs that existed that we know of. But I'm okay with that for a number of reasons. Number one, I was digging around some interview, and either Adam Driver or the director, he said the movie takes place in an alternate reality Earth. So that makes sense. So these dinosaurs, they're not our dinosaurs. They're inspired by real dinosaurs. The other thing that I forgive the dinosaur design is because it's really fascinating. We don't know about all the dinosaurs that existed in the past. A lot of them did not leave fossils. So it's really realistic. If you go back in time, you're probably going to see a lot of dinosaurs you've never seen in a book or anywhere because they don't leave fossils. Different. Say that again, Bobby.
Or they're rearranged different than our bone.
Oh, they're rearranged different. Yeah. So I love 65. 65 has got Adam Driver. This other actress, I don't remember her name. She's not that well known.
I thought it was amazing.
You liked it? You like 65? Hell yeah.
Yeah, I did. You know,
It's so good,
I've said it
yeah.
before. My favorite genre movie is one-off sci-fi.
Yeah, it's like an
And
episode of the Twilight show.
yeah, I mean, I, I had to. What I was what I think the problem with 65 is people are expecting something different.
Okay.
I think they
Like a
expect.
Jurassic Park, kind of like
Yeah, I
big.
think they expected, Jurassic Park kind of thing. I think they expected closure. I
Mhm.
think that's a lot of it, and it's not. It's a one-off sci-fi movie about some wild stuff that happens, and it's kind of a tragedy that I think it's worth buying the VHS to.
I'll check it out. The best movie I've seen lately is that Sisu, Sisu.
Oh,
Have you seen
dude, I
that?
love Cease. I saw it in
That was
theaters. It's
so
so
good.
good.
God, that reminded me of some of the old school Clint Eastwood spaghetti westerns or something. Old, Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Just had that feel.
So much fun. It's almost like these Fast and the Furious movies, but done correctly. Fast and the Furious is all over the
I don't
top
like
stunts.
those.
Yeah, this one is over the top. It's like a World War II Nazis against this John Wick
Oh
type character,
man, it's like
and it's
yeah,
got gore, it's got action, it's got unbelievable physics, but it's done so gritty and so well, and
and
that
the
you're just
violence is like Tarantino beautiful, just well
yeah.
done. It's
I've
really
never heard
good.
of that movie.
It's Sisu. See it, you won't forget it. There's one scene in it where he throws a landmine and it just
Yeah.
lands right on the guy's head, and
He,
just
he explodes. Yeah, he explodes a
it just
guy.
gets crazy.
He explodes. He explodes a
There's
Nazi
crazy
with the grenade.
scenes.
The other good
Dude,
thing about that movie is like the character. There's not that many actors. There's some Nazis. There's just one guy and some women that are held
yeah, it's
prisoner.
Nazis.
But that Nazis, dude, the actors they got and their costumes and the way they act and their teeth, it's like so
It's
cool, man.
good.
Like each one is like done so well, like a real good villain, and you love to see him get killed and mutilated and wow, it's like John
Just
Wick, really. It's like
nonstop. Yeah, it's nonstop violence, but it's good. That's the same person did the movie Rare Exports. It's like a weird Santa Claus horror movie. That's pretty good.
all
They
right,
Finnish or something? Finnish or Swedish or
yeah,
I don't
something
know.
like that. I don't
Yeah,
remember exactly.
but Rare Exports, that was their first movie. It's a really weird Santa Claus one that's really good.
The other movie I saw recently, recently I got this membership at AMC, so I get to watch like 3 movies a week, and it's only like $22 in my area. So I've seen a lot of movies. A lot of them are a little disappointing, but another really good movie is Blackberry. Have you heard of that one?
Blackberry? No, I haven't. I'll have to check it out.
It's basically a comedy. It's like it's kind of like the origins of the BlackBerry company. It's a Canadian company, but it's a comedy and it's so funny. It's got this one guy from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, the really narcissist guy, Glenn, I think is his name, or the actor's name. But it takes place in the 90s, and I laugh so loud. There's so many jokes about Doom, about nerd video game culture from the 90s. There's a lot of it's just hilarious. I was laughing so much. So I highly recommend the movie Blackberry if you want a comedy that will keep you entertained. It's a good business movie. It teaches you lessons about business, and it's a drama. That and Sisu, those are the 2 movies that I've seen this year that I highly recommend.
Yeah.
All the other ones I can't really give a high recommendation, but Sisu and Blackberry, top of my list of movies to watch.
Do you ever see Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared?
I did watch
Heard of
that
it.
one.
I've heard of it.
I've
but
sent
not
it to a bunch of people. I'll probably send it to you. It's called Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared, and it's a really weird ass British, like all these weird, like Sesame Street, but bizarre, like
It is
morbid,
wild.
and weird. And it's called, they made little bitty episodes. It's on archive.org that were like 8 or 7 minutes. I haven't seen those yet. But apparently Channel 4 in Britain did a show, and it's all on YouTube. Every episode's like 2 hours, but it's crazy. I like it.
There's tons of
It's
theories
weird.
about it too.
Like what?
Just like what it's about, different things that happen. There's a
It's weird.
channel called Film Theory. Does a lot of stuff about it.
Okay, I didn't know that. But if it's weird, I could understand that. It's definitely. I liked it. I was like, I want a T-shirt of this, and on eBay they only come from European countries, so I guess that's bigger over there, probably. But it's really weird. I recommend it, and you can find the little bitty ones on archive.org. I found a lot of old good stuff on there. I found this old Dracula Vlad the Impaler PC game done by like Swedish people. It's not the greatest, but it's still kind of cool. And I actually found them on eBay, but they're kind of expensive. But it's on archive.org. So.
Oh, dude, I got to go back to something you said earlier. You were talking about old cell phone games. I have so many memories of playing those like flip phone games. Some of those were gems, dude. It was a special time in gaming, you know.
It
Flip
was.
phones. I love it.
You played the T9? You had to play with the T9?
T9's a phone, or is that calculator?
Oh, remember the way you typed on those phones.
Oh, okay. The type of keyboard. Yeah. Of course.
Yeah.
Classic.
I've done Diablo 4 lately. They did a really good job. I like it. I mean, it's kind of hard. All my stuff's broke, and I need to go back and buy some crap if I'm getting past this boss person. The second one, I'm not that far in it, but a necromancer, it's pretty damn cool. It's definitely, they did a good job with Diablo 4. Resurrected skeletons and all kinds of crazy skeleton soldiers. I like it. But have you played anything interesting, Wild Trees? I know you game sometimes. What have you been doing?
What have I been playing, dude? Well, I've been playing a cell phone game that came out called Mighty Doom. It's based on the Doom franchise, but it's just like, it's just like a little cell phone game. It's not play to win. You could buy like little packets, but you don't have to. It's a fun little diversion. I've also been replaying the original, not the original, but the Doom remake that came out in the 2016. You ever play that game? They made two Doom games. They're pretty fun.
The newest ones.
Yeah,
They're
fun, dude. They're good.
Those are crazy. I played Amnesia Bunker, and it's really good. And there's some spots where I'm like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but I finally figured it out. That's actually fun. You're like World War I, and you get trapped in this. You're a French dude. You get trapped in this bunker, and there's some kind of creature in there, and it's like Alien Isolation. It's getting good reviews.
Really? That sounds amazing.
They did other games too, Amnesia, other ones, and there was Soma. This one's called Amnesia Bunker. It's pretty good. I like it. But I had to quit some. Sometimes games make me nauseous. I have to take a little break.
I remember this is a funny story, but I was in college, and I was an undergrad. My dad had just gifted me a really nice PC, and I was playing Doom 3. So when Doom 3 originally came out, it's got really good graphics. It was really scary, and I remember I was dating this girl, this really cute girl, and one of the things we would do for a date is she would sit on my lap while I played Doom 3 because I was so scared to play it on my own. Great memories, great college memories.
Yeah, wow, I like those a lot. There's some book I was going to get about that whole story, how that was made, and a lot of controversy. I never got it, but I wanted to get it.
Like Masters of Doom or something like that.
Yeah.
I love the whole Doom story. Doom is such a classic.
We're supposed to do a TV series about it.
That'd be great.
Somewhere. One of my favorite games ever that I grew up on, Archon. You remember that with the little chessboard and those light and dark?
Archon.
I want every one of those. There's a classic Archon on Steam, but I don't understand why they haven't done more with that. They kind of ditched it. Like, I want new Archons. I love those games. They're on Commodore 64, I think, at first, and then other stuff. But they're on SNE and Nintendo before. But I love that game. You like a chessboard. You look light in the dark, and you have a wizard. And you have to fight a basilisk and phoenix and unicorns and goblins, and it's like a chess game. Love it.
Awesome.
Some nostalgia for sure.
I'm following along on my Google browser.
Bobby doesn't play games. Do you play any video games, Bobby?
I used to. Used to play the heck out of them.
Mortal Kombat.
Last ones I played were NCAA and Call of Duty.
Which Call of Duty? Do you remember the subtitle?
The last one was Modern Warfare 3 or Black Ops 2.
Okay, yeah, you were back in the PS3, Xbox 360 generation.
Yeah. Whenever they quit making NCAA, I quit finding other games.
I'm looking at some. Okay, yeah, Rampage is good.
If you want something, real quick, if you want something like Rampage that's really good, Terra of the Hemosaurus. It's on Steam, and I swear to God, you'll love it as an animal, dude.
Okay. You know what's odd? You know, what's odd about that game is that I read a list that recommended it, but I didn't read too deeply in it. So, but I know it's on my Steam wish list, so I get updates when it goes on sale. It's funny you mentioned it because I didn't read
That
too deeply
one,
in it.
that one's like Rampage on meth, and it's
Oh,
actually
really?
better than Rampage on a lot of levels. Like it'll surprise you. It really will.
Oh yeah, I'll
But
check
go
it out
ahead.
for sure. Oh, I
Good.
was going to say I have a stack of video games in front of me that I've been meaning to play, so I could read some of them and see if you heard of them. I got a bunch of Transformers games like Transformers Fall of Cybertron. That was an Xbox 360 game.
Yeah.
Uh, Transformers War for Cybertron. I think they did those.
Ooh.
They got Deadpool for PS4. You ever play that one?
No, like the comic dude
Yeah,
Deadpool.
it's just like the movie. It's like the Deadpool talks to you. He makes fun of you while you're playing. It's like very fourth wall breaking.
Yeah, I didn't know they had one. I like Deadpool.
There's this game I got that I want to play for Xbox 360 called Driver San Francisco. Okay, it's a racing game, but what's interesting about it, why it's rare and different, is that in that game, and usually in a driver game, you play like Grand Theft Auto. You're driving, you're chasing down people, you're a cop. Well, in this game, you play a cop who had a traumatic brain injury, and so now he's like a consciousness, so he could float around the city, and you could go into anybody's body and start driving their car.
What?
So
It's called
apparently,
Driver.
Driver San Francisco. So apparently, there's a lot of dialogue. So what you could do is you could randomly float your consciousness above the city, pick any random car, and you'll start being in that person's head. And then the person in the car might be talking to them, and you'll be like mid conversation. It's really a cool little
It's weird.
gameplay gimmick.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out for sure.
Thought you're talking about the Ryan Gosling movie.
Yeah, there is a really good Ryan Gosling movie called Driver. Hell
I
yeah.
don't think it's on Steam.
No, there's a big controversy about that. Yeah, you have to buy it physical. It is backwards compatible with the Xbox Series X if you get a hard copy, but it's kind of rare. It's like $30 now. I got it kind of cheap at a GameStop because they didn't really know what they didn't know what the gold they had on their hands. Let's put it that way.
Nice.
Yeah.
Definitely. I'll have to check that out. It's on there's a Godzilla game on 360 that, or one of the Xboxes is supposed to be really good. It's kind of like we smash cities and stuff, and I wish it was more available. That actually has good reviews. I like that dynamic. Like there was that War of the Monsters. That was a PlayStation one. I don't know if you've ever seen that one.
Oh yeah, that's a classic game, dude.
Yeah. They don't do that enough. I like where you're a monster and you destroy cities and eat people.
They did that for the I know for the Sega Genesis. So back in the 16-bit area, they had what was it called? It was King of the Monsters, I believe. So it was dude. That game was so much fun. You could either play like a giant monkey or an alien or like a Godzilla.
That's on GOG. That's on GOG. I think it's on Steam too. There's one that they just re-released on Steam that's kind of like Archon Dark Legions from SSI and some other. If you follow that SNG or whatever the name of the company is, click that, and there's like a weird vampire one that just came out too called, I forget the name, but if you look up Dark Legions on Steam and then click the company, you'll see the other ones, the Summoning and some Veil of Darkness, some pretty weird old crazy old PC horror games. I like the GOG stuff too. There's some weird Elvira horror games I came across where it's like they're dungeon crawlers or something. Right? And there's Elvira. It's kind of weird. I like weird old stuff, That's why GOG's good.
It's something really charming and whimsical to me about finding these older video games, these older PC games like GOG.com. They just made them different back then. I mean, literally, the technology was different, but just the whole mindsets and the gameplay mechanics, it was just a lot of fun back then. It's so much fun exploring those games. I'm right there with you.
It's shooters, and those are fun, but I like RTS, like Age of Empires. They finally put that on Xbox in some capacity. I tried to play it. It's kind of weird. The second one, I think. It's kind of weird playing it with a controller, but I'm glad it's on there. I like RTS where you build your cities and become god kings and have soldiers and catapults and crap. That's always fun. Destroy the hell out of other civilizations and castles. That's Age of Empires.
I played. They made one of them called. It's called Jurassic Park: The Lost World Chaos Theory, and it was an RTS game that came out with the Lost World for PC. They got all the main. Oh, it was so much fun. They got all the main.
I have it in a disc, but I haven't played it.
They got all the main cast who do voices. You got Jeff Goldblum. I mean, you got everybody doing voices. It's fun, dude. You control all these T-Rexes and the Lavasaurus spitting venom, and you got evil. Yeah, that's a really good game. I
I
love
have
that.
it on a disc, and I hadn't got around to playing it. I bought it a long time ago, but some weird ones I got on disc from eBay, and I think they may be kind of hard to find. I don't know if they are or not, but Mad Dog McCree. Remember in the arcade, the old Western where you shoot the old Western like hillbillies and shoot them and stuff, and you're like dueling. Somehow I found those on eBay on PC. I haven't messed with them yet, but those sound like some real fun where you shoot the Western outlaws or whatever, like in a duel. No, it's from the old arcade days.
Yeah,
A
those
long
are
time
classic.
ago.
What was the Jurassic
Oh.
Park game where you could be the raptor?
Okay, I know the answer to this. So there was two games. One is
I had that one too.
it's just called Jurassic Park for the Sega Genesis, and the sequel
Yeah.
called Jurassic Park Rampage Edition. Two classic.
Rampage Edition.
classic.
Yeah, I had one, and then I had Rampage Edition, and I had this Chaos Theory.
Yeah, though that's a good three great Jurassic Park video games.
On the Packard Bell.
Packard Bell. My goodness. I haven't heard that name in a while. It's like Commodore 64.
Yep. I would buy everything Jurassic Park for I was way older than I should be to be playing stuff like that.
Oh, I haven't stopped, dude. I still collect the toys, man. They're still making really good. They actually just released a line. I don't know if you know this, but this year is the 30th anniversary of the first Jurassic Park movie. So they're releasing these throwback toys they're like brand new versions of the 1993 toys that they released, and it's freaking awesome. I bought a lot of those toys.
What are they, Jurassic Park?
Yeah, they're Jurassic Park toys that are new. They're releasing them now, but they're copies of the versions of classic 1993. Like, for instance, there was a classic Tyrannosaurus Rex that had like this real feel skin, like this kind of like rubbery skin, and it was a big T-Rex. Looks just like the movie that released in 1993. They just released a new version of that toy, and it is really fun. It's cool to play with.
I know Nika's been coming out with some awesome Universal monsters I'm behind on. I got a few of them, but I'm behind now. They've done so many, but they're really damn cool. Like Bela Lugosi, Dracula, Creature from the Black Lagoon, and Boris Karloff. Man, they're really well made. I'm behind.
Oh, yeah.
There's like an Invisible Man, Phantom of the Opera, and I don't have the money for them right now. 1 year maybe, but collecting stuff is so addictive. I have a lot of figures and stuff. I have an old V doll that looks like Ken, but V, that series, you take his face off and he's a reptile. But
Nice.
What?
yeah, you can find them on eBay. I've had it for a long time, but they probably go for about 100, and the box may be messed up or whatever. My box is a little damaged, but I didn't care. I never took it out, but it looks like a Ken doll, but you take its face off, and it's a V, from that crazy series. V for victory. You know that one? Did you see it, Bobby? V. The reptilians come down and eat everybody.
Sounds familiar.
From the 80s. It's an old TV. I know Wild Trees knows of it.
No, I'm actually just learning about it. That sounds
V the series, and then there's several that's on DVD. You may be able to find it in various other locations. I don't know if on streaming, but it came out in the 80s, maybe NBC, but you've got to see it. I need to watch it again. It's been so long. There's a bunch of different parts. Like I know I have like 3 different little box sets of it.
They made a reboot not too long ago.
Yeah.
That's why it sounds so familiar.
Didn't do too well, but
It's got Elizabeth Mitchell in it.
I didn't get to see it all.
Yeah, I remember watching that one.
The old one is the classic, and they made a lot more of it. But basically, there's even books. The guy put out books who created it. But basically, these aliens come down and they look like us. They want water because they don't have water, and then a big thing happens, and it turns out, well, I don't want to get into it too much, but they're there for dinner, and Robert England's in it. There's a bunch of different people in it. But
sold, dude. Robert England. Sold.
He's the nice reptilian.
I had no idea Robert England played a reptilian alien. That's amazing.
I remember Alien Nation.
Yeah. Look up the figures. They made action figures of this stuff for kids.
I love that. I love that tradition of toy making
This was on
terrifying.
regular TV. It's definitely one to watch. It's crazy. I love it. I need to watch it
Remember,
again. I haven't seen it in a long time.
remember Alien Nation?
Yeah,
I
I have all
heard of it.
those in box sets. Those are
Wasn't
really
it?
weird.
Wasn't Steven Spielberg attached to that as a producer? I believe he was.
Maybe James Caan's in the first one
They had a movie, then they made the series.
about these
Or-
aliens that
or
can't get in
backwards.
salt water and they look weird. And then
They had babies.
They had movies, a TV series, weird made for TV movies. I have them all on DVD. I just never watched them all.
The men had the babies.
Yeah, it was really weird. But James Caan, he died recently, not too long ago, but was in Godfather and all kinds of stuff.
Dennis
in the-
Hopper?
James Caan.
No, I mean in Alien Nation.
Oh, I don't remember, but probably. I know James Caan was in it, but I don't remember who else. Dennis Hopper may have been in it. It's been so long since I've seen it. But there's like the real movies, there's like a TV show, and then there's like made for TV movies. Like there's a bunch of that crap. I found some old Planet of the Apes TV series. I haven't watched it yet. I found Planet of the Apes cartoons, like from the 70s or
Yeah,
something.
the cartoons
awesome.
are good. They used to air those on random cable channels.
See, I like weird stuff like that. Like, just there's some weird thing. I found a British old claymation show called The Trap Door. I haven't watched it yet, but it's like British, and there's like weird claymation figures and crazy crap. It's on archive.org. It's called The Trap Door. I'd like to watch it. It looks weird. Like I guess it came on like their regular TV. All this weird claymation stuff. Looks pretty bizarre. I found that
James
looking for
Caan.
don't hug me, I'm scared. James Caan has been around for a long time. He just died. He was in I don't know any of these movies, but he's in a bunch of stuff. He was in The Godfather.
Of course.
What is this movie? Sicilian Vampire. I don't know.
He was the writer from Misery.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's a big role. He's been in a bunch of stuff. Some old movie that's real well known he was in. I forget the name of it. He just died. Struggled with addiction a lot.
Really? Did not know that.
Yeah, I read something about it not too long ago. An article about his death or whatever. Rollerball. Misery.
Didn't he do a lot of
Thief.
Yeah. Interesting.
And did a lot of what? What were you gonna say?
I don't know if I'm thinking of the same actor, but didn't he do some David Cronenberg movies as well? I'm thinking about James Wood. Never mind. I'm confusing him with James Wood.
Cronenberg is Morty.
James Woods is in a lot of good stuff. He seems like a huge prick now or something.
I like him. I like he's always seemed like a prick, but that's what I like about him. At least he's
I love
something.
vampires. He's in. I have a bunch of his movies. I forget their names right now, but he's in John Carpenter's Vampires. That was good.
It's funny. He plays himself on Family Guy, and he's a dick in that show too. It's funny.
Yeah.
Someone to care for.
Known for being
To
a
be
dick.
there for.
He's in some William Peter Blatty movie that, not The Exorcist, but the one, I forget what it's called. A weird movie. Damn it. I have it.
He's like Peter's arch nemesis on Family Guy.
Ah, okay, yeah. It's making...
Oh, he's the dad on Elf? What? James Caan.
Seem like he does that much stuff now. Yes, he does, but not like he used to.
Someone to... Did we hijack this podcast into a movie video game show or something?
It's been like a UFO yard sale, and then
This thing took a hard rabbit hole.
and
I
then I'm trying to find that one movie that he's very popular that he's known for. I could just
James
see
Wood?
the name. Videodrome, that's a good one.
That's the David Cronenberg movie I was talking about. Yeah.
He's in Once Upon a Time in America, that's a good one. Cat's Eye, that's an old Stephen King. Salvador, that's one I have. Bestseller. I have that. It was with Brian Dennehy. I haven't watched that one yet. I have it on DVD somewhere. I'm trying to find that one. I'll know it when I see the damn thing.
Brian song.
It's an oldie.
Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
He's in
Get Smart.
Contact.
Alien Nation.
This one's really old, but for some reason it's not coming up on IMDb the way I need it to. That's for sure. I don't know why they're not listing it at all, but I know it's well known. He's like in South America or something. There's a bridge and a bomb goes off. And I'll find it eventually. Seen True Believer. I know he's in True Believer. Video Drone. That's Cronenberg, right? Yeah.
Yep.
That's a weird one. It's a good one, though, definitely. I saw a good Western, Dead for a Dollar, I think it's called, by Walter Hill with William Dafoe in it, and that dude that's always in Tarantino movies, Christopher Waltz.
Okay.
It wasn't bad. Dead for a Dollar, I think it was called. Let me look that up. Dead for a Dollar. Yeah, that's the one. The reviews aren't so good, but I thought it was okay. I liked it. Didn't hate it or anything, but Christopher Waltz. William Dafoe.
Willem Dafoe.
It's a trip.
We quote Willem Dafoe a lot at work. Especially from Boondock Saints.
I can't wait to see that Nosferatu from Robert Eggers or whatever, the guy that did The Lighthouse and all that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's doing Northman and all that stuff. He's doing a new Nosferatu. I'm very excited about that.
No more Bela Lugosi.
It's going to be Nosferatu.
Oh, I was talking to Bobby about this. So there's this new Disney Pixar movie, so a kids movie coming out called Elio, and Elio is very interesting. Interesting time for it to come out. It's a really cute movie. Looks funny. It's basically about a child getting abducted by aliens, and it's about the aliens. Some of them are scary, aggressive looking, and the aliens have kind of like a senate, like a committee. All the different aliens kind of vote on things.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that a movie like that is going to be really mainstream, and it's just introducing these ideas of abduction and making people comfortable with it. I don't know if
convenient.
Yeah, very convenient, right? I wonder.
It's a bridge too far. A Bridge Too Far is the movie you're thinking of.
I don't know. That sounds familiar. But A Bridge to, is James Woods in it?
James Caan.
Oh, James Caan. That's not it, but that's interesting. The one I'm thinking about, God, it has James Woods in it, and it's. I have the dumb thing, and I cannot. I don't even see it on his IMDb. I'll have to find it another time, but I have it.
When does Elio come out?
That's a good question. I do not remember when it comes out.
2024. Wow, so not soon.
Yeah.
Indiana Jones comes out soon.
Yeah, I'm hearing that has mixed reviews, but hopefully it's one of those. Seems like they give everything mixed reviews lately.
You have to look for stuff with good audience scores.
Yeah, that's why I like Rotten Tomatoes. Is that the only place that does it? Gives the audience score?
Yeah, I always look for a certain genre and then just do best audience scores. Rate by. Sometimes I'll even do certified rotten, and then do sort by audio scores. And then if there's above 80, it's a good movie. But the critics just have a vendetta.
Yeah, it seems like there may be corporations controlling that stuff to make movies look worse or something. I'm sure.
Yeah, but if the critics come in there and say it's stupid because it's not, streamlined, middle of the road, artsy fartsy stuff, then a lot of times it doesn't matter what you think it is. But the audience never lies.
Paid reviews. It's a bad thing. I'm so obsessed with finding that movie that I can't stop looking for it. I probably won't find it now.
It's okay.
Drives me nuts. But I don't know what's coming out movie wise that's exciting. I don't. Dune 2 seems exciting, even though the first one I thought it was good, but it didn't excite me like crazy or anything. But I'm hoping the second one's better.
I know that Oppenheimer's coming out, and
Yeah,
Oppenheimer that might be related to UFOs. I don't think the movie's going to talk about UFOs, but it talks about the first atomic bomb being created and detonated. A lot of people say that attracted UFO activity.
That's what got him
Uh,
coming here.
yeah. So it's
yeah,
basically a movie about the start of the modern UFO phenomenon without really being about that.
I've
Which is
heard I've heard that called ripples across dimensions. That's the reason they started coming here. Like, oh crap, the monkeys are starting to manipulate space time.
And I've had Robert Salas on that's in the Air Force, and he wrote a whole book about UFOs shutting down missile silos. And this dude's still enlisted and wrote a book about this stuff. So it makes sense. There's something to it for sure. No doubt about it. Definitely a connection. I think it just, when that we set off that kind of stuff, it probably causes a chain reaction, like some Star Trek situation or something.
That's how they know that the civilization has reached its peak and they got to come watch it.
Yeah, and maybe it affects other timelines.
Yep.
I always had this scary thought. What if like a nuclear bomb can kill the soul? Like, let's say you're a spirit and it goes off near you and it evaporates your soul.
Ooh, that'd be bad.
Yeah,
That'd be game over.
yeah. Hopefully that's not the case, but things I worry about at 3:33 a.m.
Yeah, that's you never know with those nukes though. I think it's probably the start of it's probably the where the choose your own adventure starts. Like, okay, what are you going to do as a species?
Certainly looking freakier with that stuff lately, that's for sure. The nuke's going off sooner or later on the world stage. Well, I guess I'll find that movie another time and let y'all know. But right now, I can't find it, even though I own it. It's a weird old one. That's old. But
James Wood?
yeah, and it's. I can't remember that. Why do I keep thinking about The Exorcist in it? Like, it's by maybe that same dude who did The Exorcist, but I was trying to find it. I couldn't. I may be wrong. I'll find it eventually. But as far as, let's see who's coming up guest wise, and then we're about to close out in 3 minutes. So let me see. Yep, 3 minutes.
That's quick.
Coming up next week, Salacrow. That's a book of death and dying. Some seems like I don't know if she's gypsy. Kind of seems like it. On June 30th, Mike Hacker. He's been putting Jacques Vallée, trying to do my Picard voice on. I didn't very well, but his books, The Ufologist, on audible.com, an audiobook form. So you can find all of those on there. We'll be talking about those. July 7th, Sunbo True Brother from Quebec, who seems to, he knows Kawani and has a situation with Sasquatch that's a lot different than most people. Seems pretty strange. We're going to get into it. Samuel Chong, July 14th. This is I guess he's Chinese and has an alien encounter story and claims he was taken to another planet. So I hear that. He's pretty respected. So I've had people say good things to him about Michelle and everybody from the network. So
I bet he didn't grab a complimentary coaster or something on his way out.
But
that's what I would do.
We'll see. He has like a book about it and everything. So we'll see what's going on. But anywho, Wild Trees and Bobby, it's been a great show. We appreciate it.
Great.
And Jay was AWOL, so I'm feeling his kidney stone pain, making me space out. He's sitting at home on Percocets, probably drooling, passed out.
Get well soon, Jay. Don't you go dying on me.
Feel better, Jay.
Said he tried to watch the new Star Trek and fell asleep twice during it, and he loves Star Trek, so I know he's like balls to the wall.
May the force be with you, Jay.
Yes, heal my son and return to us stoneless. But we appreciate it, Bobby and Wild Trees. Thanks so much. It's been a long week. I feel like I had a weird cold or something. I've been dizzy a lot. Hoping I don't have COVID or something. I had it before. But everybody have a good week, and thanks for listening. And if y'all got any links you want to give out y'all's links.
Oh, yeah, just BobbyDizzle.com. Every way to find me. Subscribe to me on YouTube.
Yeah, please subscribe to me. If you want to subscribe to me, you could go to YouTube, type in Biologist Wild Trees. If you want to go directly, it's youtube.com// Biologist Wild Trees.
All right, everybody, you're listening to United Public Radio 107.7 FM New Orleans. Everybody have a good weekend, and we got hamburgers on the grill here. I can smell it. I need it. Need some meat. I am the god of meat. Remember that line from Preacher? That was a crazy show, Preacher, in those comics. Like, I used to read those in high school, but that show, Seth Rogen's been doing a lot of TV show production lately. He did Preacher, what was that, Future Man, or something else, but I think he's doing a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or something.
Yeah, he is. I can just picture Michelangelo laughing like Seth Rogen.
Yeah, there's some other show he did. Oh, The Boys. That's crazy as hell, too, about superheroes, Garth Ennis comics. Which Preacher's Garth Ennis as well. But anyway, everybody have a good weekend. Good night, everybody. Thanks, everybody.
Deuces.
Bye.
Good night.
Deuces wild.